Hello and welcome to a 20-minute Vinyasa flow with me. I'm so excited to do this because I have been meaning to do a yoga video for a while. Oh, I'm just so happy you're here to join me. Anyway, in the next 20 minutes, I want you to become fully present, try and push past discomfort and find your inner strength, whether that's physical or in your mind. This yoga flow is suited to all levels, so don't worry if you're a beginner or you're intermediate, whatever. There'll be beginner options given throughout. And my best advice to you would be, just go for it. Set your intention right now just to stay in the present moment and give it your all. If you enjoy the video and want to get better, the way I drastically improved my yoga is by finding one specific video I liked and coming back to it for a week at a time. So just come back to it, master the poses, and then move on to the next. So now let's get into the flow. Start in downward dog position and don't worry if your heels don't quite touch the mat yet. This takes quite a bit of warming up, so for now we'll just pedal out our feet. So as you start to ease yourself into this downward dog position, feel the release down your calves and your hamstrings. Just continue to pedal out, feeling that release and thinking about your intention for this practice. Now, if you can, make your way into your downward dog position, trying your hardest to put your heels towards the mat. Observe where you are in this position without any judgment. You're exactly where you need to be. Now, as you take a deep exhale, round through your back one vertebra at a time into a plank position. Grounding through the palms of your hands and your toes, pressing into your mat. Now, as you inhale, push yourself back into downwards dog. Pause here for a few moments as we try and go deeper into our downwards dog, pressing our heels towards the mat. Now, yet again, round through one vertebra at a time whilst you exhale. Going to repeat this movement a few times to create a wave-like motion with your body. This will start to create some heat in the body as we begin to go into our flow. So again, we're in downwards dog and rounding through one vertebra at a time as we come back into our plank position. Continue to push the ground away with the palm of your hands. We're going to repeat this wave-like motion twice more as we remember to keep our mind on the movement and nothing else. Breathe deeply, exhaling as you round into plank and inhaling as you push back into downwards dog. Focus on lengthening through your body and pushing the ground away with the palm of your hands. Now round through into plank for your final time and take your Chaturanga Dandasana. If you're a beginner or find this movement hard, feel free to put your knees down first and then your chin. Push up into your full cobra and then into your upwards dog. Tuck your toes under and go back into downwards dog. Now wave again back into your plank position and take another Chaturanga Dandasana, slowly lowering your chin and then your chest to the ground. Again, push up into your full cobra, your upwards facing dog, and then back into your downwards dog. Pedal out your downwards dog for a few seconds as you try and push your heels towards the ground for our next movement. Once your heels are as close to the mat as they can get, take your opposite hand towards the back of your knee or your ankle if you're more advanced. Try your best to lengthen yourself through this movement as you feel that amazing stretch through the side of your body. And if you can, look up towards the sky in this movement. This helps you to stretch and lengthen. Remember to push the ground away with the hand that remains on the mat and push your heels towards the ground. Now we're going to switch sides and take your other opposite hand to the opposite knee or the back of your ankle. Just take a moment here to check in with how you're feeling and if you've managed to keep to your intention through this practice so far. Your intention can be anything from quietening your mind after a busy day or setting yourself up for a good day with positive and affirming thoughts. Now release your hand and look towards your mat as we round through into plank and then take another Chaturanga Dandasana. Again, push up into your full cobra, up into upwards facing dog with your thighs off the mat and then push through into your downwards dog. Now you're all going to hate me, but come into your plank and then into your side plank. I just find this position very calming and I feel so stable in it. If you're confident in this position, then stack your feet on one another. If you're not, then you can simply just put your knee onto the mat and support yourself in that way. If you want to work yourself a little bit harder, then take your arm and circle it all around. And if you want to take yourself to the next level, then bring your foot to the inside of your thigh, coming into a triangle position. Hold for a breath and then come back into your plank position and then take your side plank on the other side. Remember, if you're a beginner, then just put your knee onto the ground and support yourself with that leg. If you're not, then stack your feet on top of one another and push the ground away with that hand remaining on the floor. Again, if you want to push yourself that level up, then take your foot into the inside of your thigh and circle your arm around if you can. Another part you probably all be waiting for is for it to be over. So come into your plank and then take another Chaturanga Dandasana. Go up into upwards facing dog and push back into your downwards dog yet again. Lengthen through your back and push the ground away with your hands, getting those heels closer and closer to the ground. Now take your gaze to the front of your mat and either hop or walk to the front of your mat. Now come into your standing forward fold halfway. And now if you're ready, take your full standing forward fold. I like to grip my hands to the back of my ankles for stability. Remember, you are folding from your hips and not your lower back. You want to protect your lower back at all costs. Just imagine you're a piece of paper folding in half from your hips downwards. Now come up halfway, looking forwards and placing your hands on your shins. Take a moment here to breathe in and then breathe out as you go back into your standing forwards fold. Wherever you are in this position, just stay there and don't force anything because you don't want to damage your lower back. Now once again, we're coming up halfway, looking forwards, and then take your opposite arm to your opposite elbow, hanging out in your Uttanasana pose for a few moments. Keep folding from your hips and shake your body out from side to side if you'd like. Now get ready to release your arms towards the mat and roll up one vertebra at a time into your sun salutation. Once you're in a standing position, lengthen through your back, take your arms up towards the sky. If it's within your practice, fold into your standing back bend. Now make your way back into a standing position and take a swan dive all the way down to the bottom of your mat. And I know I keep saying it, but remember to fold from your hips. I don't want you to hurt your lower backs. Stay here for a few moments and then look forward and take your halfway fold. Lengthen through your back in this position, take a moment to breathe out and then breathe in as you go into your standing fold. Now place your hands in front of you on the mat and press them firmly on the ground as you either hop back into your plank or you just take 2 steps. Now again go into your Chaturanga Dandasana, placing your chin towards the mat and then going up to your full cobra. Take your thighs off the mat as you go into your upwards dog and then push back into downwards dog. Pedal your feet out as you press your heels towards the ground. Now begin to float one leg up towards the sky. Keep it in the sky for a few moments as you press your other heel firmly into the mat. Now round through into your plank with your leg still hovered above the ground towards your chest. Press back into your 3-legged dog and now bring your knee to your chest once again. And this time placing your leg on the mat and taking your pigeon pose. Once you feel comfortable in this pose, take your chest towards the top of your mat if you can. To make it a little bit harder, take your arms all the way out in front of you. Wherever you are in this pose, breathe through the discomfort, with every breath going deeper and deeper into the pose as you can. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Now push yourself back up into your pigeon pose. Now we're going to attempt what's called the king pigeon pose. Don't worry if you can't do this, it's actually a bit advanced, so just do whatever you can. So try and grab your foot behind you, just rocking it back and forth to see how far you can get it. Without injuring yourself, of course, just take it slow. And if you can, just take your arm around your foot so the foot is on the inside of your elbow, and then take a bind if you can. This is more advanced, so again, just take it really easy and don't try anything you're not ready for. If you're looking for an even more advanced pose, then take your opposite arm as well to touch your foot and grab it so you're like bending back into the pose. It's actually really hard, even I couldn't stay there for very long, so just don't force anything. It takes a while, and if you just keep practicing the beginning part that I taught you, then you'll eventually be able to do this. Now make your way back towards the mat into your pigeon pose and tuck your toes under, and then make your way back into a one-legged plank. And take a single-legged Chaturanga Dandasana if it's within your practice. Push your thighs off the mat into upwards facing dog, tuck your toes under and push back into downwards dog. Now we'll repeat what we just did on the other side, so float your leg up into the sky into your 3-legged dog. Stay here for a breath and then bring your knee towards your chest. Using your core, push back into a 3-legged dog and push your foot down into the mat for stability. Now again, bring your knee through into a pigeon pose. Slowly bring your chest down to your mat and then bring your hands forward if it's within your practice. Breathe in and out through discomfort. With every breath, allow yourself to go further and further into this pose. Now push up into your full pigeon pose again. Turn to face the back of your mat, and if you can, grab that back ankle. And again, just play around here, seeing how far you can get that ankle towards your body. And if you can take the bind, that's amazing, but don't worry if you can't. And the more advanced pose, if you can, just bend your back towards your ankle. The hardest part is probably taking that opposite arm off the mat and trying to balance your body when you're trying to grab your foot with the opposite arm and the arm that you're using already. Now release into your pigeon pose, tuck your toe under and push back into your three-legged dog. Come into a single-legged Chaturanga Dandasana and then use your core to push up into downwards facing dog once again. Once again on the opposite side, float your leg up to a three-legged dog and then bring your leg through into a lunge position. Ground through your feet into the mat and then bring your arms up to the sky. Hold yourself in this high lunge position as you find your stability. Now bend that front leg and then take your body over the top of the leg, bringing your chest as close towards your knee as you possibly can. Now release back into your full high plank with your arms facing towards the sky. Make sure your foot is fully grounded on the mat before coming into your Warrior 3 pose. You can bring your hands into a prayer position or you can bring them out in front of you for more stability. Think of yourself like a tree standing really strong and tall with your roots firmly in the ground. Now staying balanced, keep one arm on the floor and then reach one up towards the sky. Bring the arm back towards your mat and then make your way back into your high lunge. Now bring your arms towards your mat again and take your foot to the outside of your hands, coming into your lizard pose. I love the lizard pose so much because it really helped me to get into my split. And if you can do this, which is a bit more advanced, take your elbows towards your mat. This is a really deep stretch along your body. Stay here for a few moments and then come back up onto your hands. Press your hands into the ground as you make your way back up to a single-legged Chaturanga Dandasana. Try and bring your thighs off the mat when you take your upwards dog this time and then push back into your downwards facing dog once again. Pedal your feet out for a few breaths, taking a little break, and then we'll repeat those movements on the other side. So float your other leg up to a three-legged dog position. Bring it through, bringing your knee towards your chest, landing your foot in between your arms. Once you feel balanced, take your arms up towards the sky into your full high lunge. Inhale and exhale for a few seconds here, and then stretch your leg out in front of you, pressing your hips backwards. Now try and bring your chest as close towards your leg as possible, but don't worry where you are here. Just be wherever you are without judgment. Once you feel balanced, bring your arms up towards the sky, keep your foot on the ground and then come through into your Warrior 3 pose. Again, you can bring your hands into a prayer position, or if you find it easier, you can put your arms out in front of you for stability. Bring one arm down towards the mat as you reach one arm up towards the sky. Stay here for a few breaths, finding a focal point so you can balance. And remember, you are a tree with roots in the ground and you won't go anywhere if you just tell yourself that. Now come back into your high lunge and then take your arms up towards the sky once again. Straighten your front leg once again into a triangle pose and push your hips back. Now we're going back into our lizard pose, so bring your foot to the outside of your hands and then stretch through the side of your body. If it's within your practice, then bring your elbows towards the ground because this makes it even harder, and as I said, it really helped me get into my split. Hold it here for a few breaths if you can, and then make your way back up into a normal pigeon and then back into your single-legged Chaturanga Dandasana. Go slowly and carefully, squeezing your core as tight as you can, then push back into your downwards dog and pedal out once more. Now we're going to go into our Yogic Squat, so look forwards to the top of your mat and either hop or walk forwards. If you find Yogic Squats hard, I suggest that you roll your mat up and place the front of your mat underneath your heels. This just allows for a bit more range of motion. Open your hips up in this position and just take a few breaths standing strong and tall, pushing your legs apart with your elbows. Now we'll try the crow pose. This one took me almost a year to get, so don't worry if you don't get it straight away. Just do the little bouncy motion in between your yogic squat and your crow. See, I literally just fell over. It's really not that easy. I find that you really have to find your balance and then push your chest up and out. And once you're in the position, it's actually really easy to hold it. You find complete balance. And what really helped me was building up my shoulder strength most of all. And this is a bit advanced, but if you can, just jump back into your plank position. Briefly press up into your upward facing dog and then make your way into child's pose. We're nearing the end of our practice now, so I just want you to take the longest breaths you've taken all day. This might be the only time that you get to yourself, and it really is an act of self-love to bring yourself into the present moment. Allow yourself time just to not think about work or anything for that matter. Now take your time to come out of child's pose and into your cross-legged position. Bring your arms up into the sky and thank yourself for making time to have such a beautiful practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.